Nowhere in the world was the loss of Titanic more deeply felt than in Belfast, city of her birth. The Titanic Memorial Garden was opened on the 15th of April 2012, marking the 100th anniversary of the sinking. A key feature of the garden are a series of bronze plaques containing all 1,500 plus names of those who perished. Belfast's position at the head of a deep sea lough made it ideal for shipbuilding. The River Lagan flows into Belfast Lough, where improved water quality has enabled the return of salmon, though not all as large as this 10-metre specimen. The city's main shipbuilder, Harland & Wolff, builders of the Titanic, were the biggest and most productive shipyard in the world in the early 20th century. This new office building commemorates the name of the White Star Shipping Company, owners of Titanic. The last surviving White Star vessel, the Nomadic, now returned to Belfast, was built as a tender to RMS Titanic. Once a climate-controlled facility for the painting of ship components, the Paint Hall is now one of Europe's largest film studios. Harland & Wolff's headquarters and drawing office, where plans for Titanic were devised, can still be visited today. The former drawing office retains its high barrel ceiling and cathedral-like atmosphere. Another major connection to Titanic in Belfast is the Victorian Pump House and Dry Dock. The pumps, once powered by steam, could empty the dock in just 100 minutes. Taking 7 years to build and using 500 workers, the massive dry dock had a price tag of £35 million in today's figures. Once flooded with water, the 1,000-ton door to the dock was opened, and the capstans were used to haul Titanic into this huge space. Over 300 keel blocks were used for the ship to rest on. The very same blocks line the bottom of the dock today. Once docked, Titanic was fitted with bronze propellers, each weighing 38 tons, painted and inspected. After her launch in 1911, the great ship was berthed outside the dock and fitted with engines, boilers, funnels and interior fittings. At the Ulster Folk and Transport Museum, it's possible to explore more than 500 original objects associated with Titanic and the White Star Line. Large numbers of shipyard workers use this tram, now housed in the Transport Museum. First-class passengers travel to Titanic in more exclusive transport, such as this Minerva car. At the Outdoor Folk Museum, you can explore a living history of Titanic and experience people's daily routines, activities and stories, like those of the shipyard riveter.
As a riveter working in the shipyard around about the time of Titanic, I could earn about 33 shillings a week. If you take the rental in this house as being 6 and 6 a week, it's around about 20%. It's a hard life. Working, commencing at 6:30 a.m, working through probably to about 5:30 p.m, Monday through Friday. Working Saturday morning to 12:30, and that's not overtime, that's part of your normal working week. The life of a riveter would have been quite difficult, early start. No health and safety as we know it today, so no ear defenders, no hard hats, no climbing harnesses, So riveters generally almost always would have ended up deaf eventually. May have lost fingers, lost an eye. There were accidents, people did die from falling. Because it's hard, strenuous work, you may not be able to maintain that throughout your working life as a river, and probably by your mid-30s, early 40s, you were basically done. So all in all, hard life, but you can afford a decent house, a little bit more luxury, and at that time, during the building of ships in the shipyard, particularly the Titanic, rivers would be known as the millionaires of the yard.
Coal was a vital fuel used to provide the steam power of the great ships.
And the shipping industry, shipbuilding industry continued to grow, thus making Belfast the most important industrial city in the whole of Ireland. All of this fueled by the invaluable efforts of shipping merchants like Kelly's, who even at the height of industrial action kept those industrial boiler fires burning.
Another company that went from strength to strength, of course, is that of Harold and Wolff Shipbuilders Limited. They successfully completed the Olympic-class liners and sea-tried the Titanic on schedule. But sadly, as we know, in April 1912, Mr. Thomas Andrews here, who we've met previously, was one of those 1,513 brave souls to perish in the freezing water.
Tickets for Titanic's launch were printed on similar equipment to the printing press demonstrated in the museum's print shop.
Now you can see, there's a picture, the ticket all made.
Launch tickets were sold in Belfast's post offices.
Here we have this little reproduction made in the print shop next door by my good friend Andy. And as you can see here, the Titanic first was launched on the 31st of May 1911. It made its maiden voyage the following year, but the original tickets are less than half this size, and they were sold in post offices throughout Belfast.
A major new attraction, Titanic Belfast, opened in 2012, marking the centenary year of the tragic maiden voyage. Built on the original Titanic slipway, the impressive building recalls the shape of the ship's prow. Inside this iconic sixth-floor building are a series of galleries, starting with Belfast in the early 1900s. An electronic ride uses special effects to recreate shipbuilding.
The ship's frames start out as straight bars. These are heated in a furnace, then hooked out onto slabs of cast iron, where they're hammered into shape against an iron mould. A rivet squad consists of 3 men and 2 boys. On one side of the plate, the heater boy heats the iron rivets on a portable hearth. Using tongs, he throws the rivet to the catch boy, who places it in the hole for the holder up. For the teams in the double bottom, the work of riveting can be very hard. The only light comes from candles. Stray pieces of hot metal often fly around, so riveters have to wear a muffler to protect their necks.
Other displays illustrate the luxury of the first-class experience, a taste of the unique engineering, and the opulence of the grand staircase. The striking of the iceberg, the final hours, and the aftermath are all covered in this must-see visitor experience.
How long did you stay in your boat? Position in the boat. Did you face Titanic?
I was facing it at this time.
Belfast is rightly proud of its industrial past, but the city has also ensured that all of those who perished on RMS Titanic will be forever remembered.